Hello, and welcome to this first thoughts reaction thing to...
You're always going to introduce it like that.
Yep, that's
we're kind of in between that. We'll never get out of it.
It's like, well, we had too many people say, oh, this isn't a reaction, this is, you know...
Did we? I think it was only one person.
Yeah, there was a couple. It was a couple of times, but I don't know.
Alright,
yeah.
Fine.
It's a sort of reaction. It's a thing.
We talk about it then, if that's what we're titling
Alright,
it.
are we going to do this at the start of our play phone? Have a domestic, right. Jesus Christ, what a start. So, Praxeus, episode 6, series 12.
Just to know, I'm not gonna be speaking very loudly for this podcast because I'm in a hotel room. So, just so you know, that's why I'm speaking down like this, because
it's a different background.
I have to wake everybody up. Well, I don't think anyone's gonna be asleep at this time.
Probably not at 8.
Well, they might be.
Who knows?
They might. Who knows?
Who knows?
I haven't checked on everyone, but...
Just go around knocking on all the doors, being like, hey guys, do you want to appear on a podcast? Okay, well, I thought it was pretty damn solid as an episode. I enjoyed it.
Really interesting. I mean, well, it does the environmental aspect far better.
Yeah, it was... Yeah,
like,
I was literally thinking that. I was thinking, like, this is how... It's like the plot fitted in with it, you know, antivirus, which connects onto plastic, which sounds like something that could exist, you know, and it was interesting to hear about the microplastics. I didn't know about that, and so that's damn cool. Yeah, I thought it was a really well-stitched plot together. I felt maybe some of the dialogue sometimes was a bit, I don't know, basic, but I felt that from the vlogger girl.
Well, yeah, but that's because that's the language they use on vlogs. If you've ever spent 5 seconds listening to them, they're like very, very simple for very, very simple people. Oh, sorry, did I say that? I'm sorry.
Oh God. Okay. I thought it was really, really nice stitched plot. I thought it was interesting. You know, they didn't go super crazy for the aliens. I like there was another planet which was infected. And they basically came to Earth to find one which was just as fucked up as their one to try it out, you know, see all the microplastics and see if it worked.
That would be exactly what we would do.
I thought it was...
If we had technology to do it.
It was nice. I was worried they were going to do something like, oh, the virus came from Earth and... You know, the aliens are trying to, you know, use it to take over. I thought they were going to go that way.
Real evil was people. I mean, it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't.
Yeah, it was like different planet evil people, which was fine. Like, that makes it, I know, less like humans are destroying the Earth, which, I mean, kind of we are, but like...
Yeah, but
it's delivery of the message.
They wouldn't have had that. They wouldn't have had the means to send the virus had it be for our destructive powers. Yeah. So it is, but it isn't.
It was just a much better way of going around it, and I felt it was just very strong. I thought in terms of terms of its delivery. I thought it was strange that there was no kind of connection to the end of like the episode. But what I really like actually this series is what they're doing is they're spending time with the side characters first. And then the Doctor and companions come in. Like, I'm really enjoying that kind of setup. It gives you that tiny bit more time with the companions where they're not just asking questions, you know, they're going about their lives. So you kind of see them.
I mean, they kind of were asking questions from the start, but I mean, they were... Yeah, but I mean, that's the whole point, so... Well, I mean, it's got a decent, like, side bit that was,
and finally, like, using some of that police skills, like the whole... Like, oh, they hesitated means it's important, like, smart. And, like, actually going against the Doctor being like, I'm going to stay here. I was like, thank fuck, finally. Jesus Christ. Like, how long has this taken for shit like this? But yeah, I thought, I mean, it looked
3 years.
It looked quite glamorous, actually, in terms of, like, you know...
There was a variety of locations.
You know, and I thought they all looked... Yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought costume design... I liked the... You know, how they were covering the mask. I wonder why she couldn't get the mask off. I don't know. I thought
because it just stuck to the or maybe the protruding bits of the disease or something. It stuck itself to the mask or something like that. Something like that.
But I liked how I didn't get why the birds were attacking the humans. Maybe
because
I missed that.
Because they had lots and lots of plastic, I guess. I don't know.
I think there was that needed slightly more.
The person who wrote it just really, really liked Birdemic.
Yes, clearly. The best film. Not Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. Yeah, no.
Who's Alfred Hitchcock?
Yeah, it's the Birdemic. That classic gem. Oh, God. I was thinking about that film. And yeah, I thought they did some nice... I thought they did a bit of a reference to the birds when she closed the door and it was up against the glass, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the little Autons nod. I like that. It was like plastics, all Autons. And she was like, oh no, they don't act in this way. I thought that was some nice fan service without it being over the top, but enough.
Yeah, because it made sense.
It made sense to jump to Autons. You know, even I was at one point, I was like, okay, plastics, Autons. I thought that would have been quite a cool story, actually. Like the Autons
would have been
like it become the virus and we're controlling the birds through that means.
Maybe that we've had one too many returning enemies.
Yeah, definitely.
I felt this episode, might have been a bit top heavy. We kind of the final act very much kind of
happened very quickly.
Suddenly got a breakneck pace where it didn't kind of previously.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think it might have been a bit better to balance it out a bit. Not that what they were doing in the beginning wasn't interesting. I just thought, wow, we had
I remember when he was in the ship and he was had the bacteria and it was seeing if it was gonna help him. I was like, we're gonna have a quick ending because I was kind of like thinking about because I try not have my phone near me, just so I'm like fully involved with the episode, nothing to distract me. But I was like, a lot of time has passed. We're gonna have quite a quick rampant ending. Now, my one kind of critique of the ending would have been, so the doctor was like, okay, I've set it to autopilot. Oh no, it's broken. Run away. Hopefully it will work. That's fine. But the fact that then in the ship you had to manually, push the thing to let out the pathogen and, cleanse Earth, that had to be done manually anyway. So if she didn't think that...
No, if the autopilot were, that would have been done automatically, I think.
I don't know. It felt like, I don't know, in my mind, the Doctor would have gone in the ship to save Earth. Do you get what I mean? If, like, the autopilot was not working. I don't know why the Doctor kind of left it
why didn't you just land the TARDIS in there in the first place, go up, go to the point, send the virus, and then at the point where it's distracting, go back to the TARDIS?
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like it was a bit like...
clearly she was able to get in there in a reasonably timely manner.
Caves of Androzani, the very end, the Doctor's just like, fuck it, gotta save Perry, and basically crashes the ship.
Even if she didn't, materialise, right, the TARDIS is powerful enough to where, just being in there, like the force field should take the blast regardless. So it's like, she literally could have just had it there.
I'm glad she did save him though, because I would have been like, that is such lazy. Like the TARDIS has materialized around dying people so quickly.
Right? These various deaths and stuff, whether you're like, well, why did the Doctor just go in there?
Yeah. I did like that Suki died, though. I thought that was really nice, where the Doctor was talking around, but then, she just lost. There was just nothing she could do, and I thought that was quite a nice, powerful scene where you could see, the Doctor was like, yes, we're going to do it. 2 great scientists, and she just dies. The Doctor was like, fuck. Yeah, I thought...
no twist. It didn't... it wasn't... It kind of wasn't really hinted at all, but, it kind of made sense, in the context, and she worked quite well as kind of, not really a villain, although kind of a villain.
Yeah, they were bad for bringing the virus to Earth, but they were just trying to save their own people, but, yeah. But that's kind of it. I felt side characters, again, quite a lot. See, what I find weird is, a vlogger person who loves to travel... Isn't that the perfect setup for a companion? I don't know. I feel like that's far more interesting than what we've got. Someone who loves traveling, is a vlogger,
to be honest,
loses their partner. Oh, now I come across this mad traveler in time and space who goes to alien planets.
An intergalactic vlogger.
Yeah, wouldn't you be like you wanted to travel with them? I don't know. I felt like that is the kind of thing a vlogger traveler would want to do. After lose their best friend. She's lost a whole channel. Can't be like, yeah, my mate died from a weird alien disease. So it's just
I guess he can.
One girl roaming. Yeah, but people would call you mad.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what they were saying at the end. It was like, I'll join them on their honeymoon, and then they'll do blogging stuff with it, whatever.
It was weird. I always think like it's weird when they just kind of leave these humans on Earth, and they've seen such amazing things. And it's just like, what the hell do they do with their lives after? Like that's kind of that's why I really like, in hindsight, like Love and Monsters. Like Elton's story about just the tiny bit where he saw the Doctor for a moment as a kid in his living room after this shadow creature had killed his mum, and it's just this camera angle, this low camera angle of just this kid's POV of seeing the Doctor, and it's so fucking actually quite scary, even though it's David Tennant. So imagine coming down, finding your mum dead, just this Doctor here, like, and it's like I know I'd love to see a couple more stories. I think there's so much you could do with a character who came across the Doctor and then life after. I mean, they kind of hinted it with like Catherine Tate, like she went traveling to Egypt and then she kind of got back and it was like, oh fuck, gotta get a job again, like how mundane.
Well, I mean,
life.
Wasn't that part of what they were trying to do with like Me/Isilda, with like they had like a bit where it's like, oh, she was, that was like
no, because that's alien tech. She became alien and immortal. That's too much. What I'm more interested in.
Oh no, but I meant didn't she go round and like, there was something with her and like previous companions, and she went around doing stuff, wasn't there?
Oh, what, like in the time between?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
The picture.
Can't completely
There's something
remember.
like that.
I'm more interested in like the average Joe though, who comes across the Doctor once, and then they go back to their lives and they're like, shit, that was the most amazing time of my life, and I didn't go with them. Like that is more like what it is. Or then the people who never want to see the Doctor again. Wouldn't that be an interesting story? Someone bumps into the Doctor, like the guy. Do you remember the woman who fell to Earth? The guy in the crane. He was like, I don't want any part of this. There's a lot of normal people would. I really like that element where he was like, I just want to go to work. I don't want to be part of this. Just let me go. That was a really cool and natural human kind of reaction for some people. Wouldn't it be funny if that person kept coming across the Doctor? Wouldn't that be a quite interesting story of like this person who just wants to dodge the Doctor at all costs, and all these aliens just keeps ending up in these situations, kind of like, oh, just leave me alone. I think that could be quite a nice little episode, kind of this guy who just can't get rid of the Doctor. They could open it up being like, I'm trying to escape this person, but anything I do like ultimately. And like then at the very end, obviously redemption, they save the day, whatever, and it's like save the Doctor's life or something. And it's like, oh well, clearly it was always leading to this moment, like a small Wilf Davy, 10th Doctor kind of arc, but just over an episode of this person who just desperately is trying to not get involved with aliens, to just live a normal mundane life.
That could be quite a fun one. It
would just be different, I think it could be quite comical, but with some serious undertones of like, not everybody does want to know what's out there. Not everyone wants that, And I think sometimes.
Well, to be fair, I mean that was kind of initially with Ian and Barbara, were just kind of taken without necessarily wanting to be on that adventure.
But they were. What's the word? Oh, what's the word? They were academics, though, so they could appreciate everything once they did get there. Obviously, they weren't happy to start with, but they were happy, towards the end. Obviously, they got in scrapes, but, like, they still enjoyed the adventures eventually, They say thank you, Doctor, at the end of the chase and go about their lives. But, it would be interesting to see another episode with them in, just like during, like, the 90s or something, Obviously, you'd have to get different actors. But it would be interesting to return to them and be like, what did happen to Ian and Barbara,
Well, they didn't age, apparently.
Apparently, according to, Russell T, that little thing at the end. But yeah, I thought, But, I don't know, that's massively astray. I thought it was a really solid episode. I'm liking this season a whole lot more than last season. Obviously, last week is still a lot of questions up in the air, like, what the fuck?
I'm still like kind of a mixed bag. I mean, Skyfall was fine. Nikola Tesla was good. This has been good. But Orphan 55,
obviously,
I think, ranks probably amongst one of the worst shows ever produced, quite literally. And Doom, it's so many questions, so many things not really satisfyingly set up. Even it's fine if you don't answer every question, but it's like so many things. Just
I think it was just having Jack in there as well just made it a bit too much. You know?
That didn't need to be there in the slightest. That was just
that could have been
like
the bit
waste. Like so much more time could have been spent on like Ruth's doctor that we never got in this episode. Where we're just like, oh, here's a crazy moment with Jack. You remember Jack, right? He does the things.
It was just weird at the end thinking about it later on. Is that one thing we didn't mention last week? Obviously, Ruth has a bloody police phone box, which that has to be after William Hartnell.
Yeah, I thought we did bring that up, didn't we? I mean, certainly. Well,
I remember we didn't mention it. We didn't mention it in the last one because I remember just as I kind of finished the edit, I was like, oh crap, we didn't I messaged you like, oh yeah, it has to be. I'm thinking parallel universe at this point.
It can't because he said it wasn't.
Yeah, but he said this is the Doctor. That doesn't mean.
He said specifically this isn't like a parallel universe. It's just a real thing. Yeah. He said that very, very specifically. That this is the Doctor.
I remember looking at some reviews. Some like theory analysis back in the first episode. Well, part 2 of Spyfall when we saw the Timeless Child, the little, where it showed that kind of weird tower thing where it gave the Doctor like a slight memory. Like the child there is a black female child. So I'm guessing that's Ruth. I don't know. Who knows? Like just there was that like child for a second, like split second. So clearly that is that.
One other thing that's kind of been floated about is like the whether or not it potentially could fit in like the gap between like the second and third Doctors when we don't see a regeneration, which kind of makes sense. Although the fact that she also disregards the sonic screwdriver when Patrick Troughton used it before that wouldn't make sense for that. I don't think that's where they're going with it, but I don't know really where they're going with it. I just really hope they don't retcon anything. Like, it's an addition if you have to. But, it's like just don't completely like.
It's weird to have the first kind of Doctor of Colour not even be an official Doctor. I feel like it takes away from it, like of it being such an important thing of having someone of colour play the main character, which I still think should have happened by now, to be honest. Although they did try and cast someone, actually, didn't they, for 11th Doctor, but they turned it down.
He said he offered the role. I mean, I think it was what Patterson Joseph was like heavily rumoured at that point. Yeah. Everybody thought it was going to be him for a while until Matt Smith kind of blindsided everyone because nobody saw that coming at the time.
Yeah. Good old Matt Smith. But yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's an interesting one. But I thought it was a really solid standalone episode. One I'd happily rewatch. I think. Same as Nikola Tesla. I really did love that line at end of Nikola Tesla, where it's like, the present they can have it, but the future's mine. Like that last little bit that he said was actually a really great scene, which, thinking of like back to it. But yeah, next week's looks interesting. So clearly that smoky character from the Coming Soon trailer is not in the finale, so not the Black Guardian. Where? But guess we'll see. Looks interesting. We haven't seen really any footage from this one yet, or know much about it. All I did see actually the small description for this episode got kind of quietly released on the Doctor Who website.
Okay.
But let me just read that. Can you hear me? Is what it's called.
I thought you were actually asking for a second.
No. What is it? Okay. From ancient Syria to present-day Sheffield and out in the wilds of space, something is stalking the Doctor and her friends. As Graham, Yaz and Ryan return home to see friends and family, they find themselves haunted by very different experiences. Who is the figure calling from beyond the stars for help, and why? And what are the fearsome... Chagaskas? terrorizing Aleppo in 1380. To find the answers, the TARDIS team embark on a mission that forces them to face their darkest fears. Sounds like a pretty interesting character piece.
Could be, yeah.
Could be quite good, actually.
But it wasn't the whole facing your darkest fears, the whole thing with God complex, wasn't it?
I guess. I mean, so was Amy's Choice. That was a whole kind of facing fears, which is a cracking episode. I love Amy's Choice.
I need to watch it again.
At the time, I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, but then when I watched it on a rewatch, it's so fucking good. It's so good. It's really powerful. And I love Toby Jones as the Dream Lord. It's really, really good. But yeah, Charlene James, new writer next week. Could be interesting. I thought it was quite well directed, this episode, which was Jamie Magnus Stone, who directed Spyfall Part 1, and he's also directing the finale 2-parter. So, I mean, we're getting close to the finale, 2 more weeks, and then we're there.
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh,
Jeez.
wait. Oh, no. I'm not going to be around for the finale. I'm going to be in Norway. I'm going to be in Norway for a week. Oh, no. I'm going to have to dodge spoilers like crazy.
So am I going to need to do that on my own then? Or?
Yeah, you can talk. I'll set up Skype. I'll just leave it as an empty background for the whole thing.
I'll just have like a Nick Cardwell cutout.
Yeah, just be like, oh, this is great. Even though I haven't seen it. Oh, God. Oh no.
Are you sure you can't take a couple of hours to...
I mean, one, I'd have to access it in Norway, which iPlayer won't be accessible because it's only UK land only. Yep. Oh, I'm not even gonna have my laptop with me, man. It's I'm doing a whole I'm doing like a social media kind of detox for a week. I think it's what I bloody need. Okay. This is gonna be a crazy month coming up. Got a lot of projects and all of us. February is gonna be a mad one. So it's gonna be quite nice for this kind of.
Like I said, I'm sitting here, staying the night before an audition for an acting school. So
good luck, comrade. Woo! We're all cheering you. The 15 people who watch this, but yeah.
About that many.
Yeah. Oof. That's a big oof on us. But
well. This is more for self-satisfaction in a way, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we're okay. Watchers who doesn't. It's our way of critiquing and kind of. I guess it's a way of learning. You're kind of thinking about episodes and story structure. I mean, it definitely helps me think about.
It's just we were always doing this on Skype anyway beforehand. It's like,
yeah, that's true.
Why not record it and send it? I think that was the whole precipice behind the whole first Thoughts thing to begin with. It was just like, we could spend however long, waiting before, we get to do like a full review for it. Or we could do what we usually do on Skype and just talk about it like we usually do.
Yeah. And then we moved to recording ourselves, so people felt like they could see us. I don't know. Also, easier to edit. Shh. But yeah.
It was that difficult before.
I think that pretty much wraps it up for this episode, to be honest. There's not much else to say. Pete McTeague, I think, is the strongest writing then so far for the Jodie Whittaker era. Kablam and now Praxeus is 2 very strong stories. I'd say Nina Metsavia, who did Nikola Tesla, is actually maybe one of the strongest writers. To completely understand it, apparently she was script editor for a lot of episodes, and that's why you can tell it's so stitched together so nicely because she just understands script writing a bit more. The whole I guess it's weird. I don't know. I wonder how many script writers out there are ever write a perfect draft. It's interesting. You don't really know.
Probably happened at some point.
I mean, maybe during the Russell T Davies era, there was just a stunning script editor. Who knows? You just got
felt
it.
like half of Moffat's scripts just thrown out with no drafts.
Yeah.
With one draft.
Well, that's because they didn't have one, did they?
Occasionally.
I think Moffat was the script guy, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah, well, after series 5, there wasn't like a designated script editor.
Yeah.
The buck stopped with him, and to very mixed results.
Yeah. See, it's weird. Like, it's funny. His first season, his last season are the strongest. I'd say. Bloody love Series 10. I keep thinking back to it, and damn, it's a solid season.
It's great. I'm still kind of fond of Series 9 as well.
Yeah, I know. There was a lot of great in Series 9, but just Series 10 was a banger. Absolute banger.
It really was.
And it's crazy, like, I don't know, at the time we were like, yeah, it's just a really good season. I'm having good fun. But actually, like, now with more time of hindsight, like, fucking banger. So good.
I mean, the only exception being Lie of the Land, I'd say. But other than that, pretty darn consistently really high quality stuff.
So good. But yeah, I feel like this season's at least stepping in the right direction. I felt the humor landed a bit better this episode. I like the bit. Okay, the Doctor's humor.
I didn't laugh at all.
I like the bit. Where she was like, I got too, like, when she was like talking to the spaceman. It's like, oh, I didn't factor you into this. Too busy thinking about the cat. I thought that was a nice line. But I don't know. I feel like it's slowly getting a bit more character to her, but it's just the issue of too many companions. But hopefully, one disappears soon.
Serious circumstances.
Yeah, just gets shot, and like me in the background with a gun just runs off to the side, like, oh.
Who shot Graham?
What happened to Graham? God, yeah. Well, I just hope this doctor has just a season.
Actually, you know what would be even more heartbreaking is if they shot Ryan instead and Graham was left with it
alone. Yeah,
that's now that.
So that'd be quite dark, but I just don't see that season doing it. I think if we
want to do it because it would take more guts than they've had in a very long time with companions. Because it's just like throughout basically most of the Revive series, the worst I think Clara technically died, but I mean,
not
she's
really though.
Dead, but she is.
She's still floating about the universe. Could show up at any point. Yada yada yada.
But I mean, maybe Rose got it worse because she got trapped in the parallel universe, but she kind of got everything she wanted within that.
Yeah.
And then Amy and Rory left a normal life.
Pretty much.
And yeah, I think it is finally time to do something interesting.
Bill was pretty dark. Bill pretty much died. Like, stepmom would never see her again. I mean, she became Puddle Girl, whatever, but that's not really her, is it? Though.
Travel the universe forever with a.
I mean, it wasn't really Bill though, was it? It's like it was like a consciousness of, but not really. Like Bill really lost who she was. That was, and that's why I think Series 10 is so strong because it really is a tragedy at the end. She does die. That's not Bill anymore. That is Puddle. Entity of kind of what Bill.
I mean, I guess that's debatable, but it depends on what you want to count as human, right? Yeah. There's all this talk about like getting brains uploaded through like modern technology and whatever, and you do question, well, what point does it become not human? At what point do you lose yourself? Is the mind all there is?
I think. See, that's the thing where it's like there's the mind, which is like just thought processing and coming up with stuff, but then surely there's like, I don't know, human soul.
But isn't that most of what defines us? Our personalities, our experiences, isn't that most of us? I mean, what's a body beyond just
it'd be interesting
if shell?
If you uploaded a brain to a system, it would be interesting to see what it thinks of itself. Would it say I'm still this person, or would it go I'm not anything of what I used to be? I mean, like, surely I think part of being human is like being able to feel and all the kind of just feeling and being able to move and that kind of thing. I think that what counts as being human.
Depend on how it was programmed, right?
I guess. Because if it's a robot,
if you can see like a person and to some extent emulate the feeling of a person, then I guess. Your perception might still be that you're the same, even if you look down at yourself and see something else. Whereas,
I mean, can you look down? Do you have eyes? It's crazy,
Depends.
I'd hate
if a thought's just another thought, a bunch of thoughts and a big collection of thoughts, then Yeah. This is
Deep with Visor Harmony. There we go.
Yeah.
I think
deep, epical robotic stuff.
You lose your humanity because that is what we are. Maybe it would still be.
Well, it depends what you define as humanity.
I think
is our brains what defines humanity, or is it everything else? Because ultimately, feelings and sight and all that other stuff, all animals do that, right? But what makes us distinct from all other creatures on this planet is our minds and how we've been able to use them to change the world around us.
Yeah. Having that thought process of self-analysis and understanding why we do things, actually questioning it. It's kind of crazy how we've evolved so far.
Yeah.
Crazy times. Bang. But yeah, man. So, well, we know that Cybermen are bloody this season. So, are they the finale?
I guess. I mean, the way they built it up with the time, with the last Cyberman in that, I guess it kind of has to be.
That's cool,
right? Which is going to be like so much, right? We've got to figure out this roof stuff.
I don't think that's
probably going to find the answer. Timeless Child.
I don't think so.
And now we've got the Cyberman. Sorry.
I think Timeless Child's going to be next season.
Possibly.
I think they slightly mentioned it in the first season. I doubt they're going to solve it now in this season. I think.
I assumed that it would tie into the Gallifrey stuff, and
I think it will.
That's going to be explained.
I don't think it will be solved this season, though. I think at this rate, it's going to be Cybermen. Story in next season is going to be the big Timeless Child shit. I think maybe this Cyberman thing will have a knock-on effects into whatever happens, but I'm thinking this 2-part finale is actually going to be the Cybermen. And we're not going to find out about the Timeless Child. Maybe
I guess we'll see. Maybe they'll try and shove the whole thing together. But I mean, because considering, it kind of feels like the companions might, well, at least there's going to be some sort of change towards the end of the series, right? In terms of the TARDIS roster and all that stuff. So it feels like. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I think Chibnall seemingly does really like to hold stuff back and plant seeds and stuff. So,
which I don't mind that, but it was just a very big seed.
Then again, looking at what happened in future with Dune, I wouldn't be so surprised if he did try to shove a ton into the finale. So, I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Well, at least it can't be any worse than last series finale. Fingers crossed.
You say that.
Fingers crossed. At least with a 2-parter, it can have some level of bloody threat. How could you write that as a finale?
It could just be long and boring. Not every 2-parter has been one great, right? There's been plenty of bad 2-parters.
If it's Cybermen, I'm hoping at least something. But I think it's weird to do Cybermen so soon after the Series 10 series finale being Cybermen.
But then again, we said that about the Master too.
No, the Master has been ages. Oh no, actually, yeah, that was that story as well. Never mind. Take that back.
Yeah, you can't.
I don't know. I feel the Master's a bit like a different kind of. Like
Not
he's
really.
No. I say he's still an A-list villain in terms of that, but he always works with other things, and he's always just he's just a different kind of level of.
It's just that they seem to. Well, the implication is that the Master had been basically killed at the end of that, so it's like suddenly throwing it back after having what was almost kind of like a perfect end, I guess. In a weird way.
Well, it depends when this one is set. This Master, because this Master could be between Sim and
there is that
Michelle
possibility,
Gomez.
But nevertheless, they brought back the Master after having given the Master the / Missy the that kind of ending. It was like
they haven't explained it yet, so I'm not gonna say anything.
No, but still, I know from the actual episode perspective, it could make a whole lot of sense by and all that stuff. But like I say, just from an audience perspective, it's like. We saw that. It seemed like a good way to hold it, at least for a while, until maybe later. But it seemed to have come really, really quickly.
To be fair, though, I felt like there's years for the Master and stuff. I That's why I think it caught me off guard. I always felt like Jodie's doctor would never fight the Master for some reason. I just kind of had that weird feeling.
Because it was kind of big. Because also the Master jumped over kind of Matt Smith's era.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the Master kind of a seeming pattern had been emerging where it was like David Tennant got the Master, Matt Smith didn't.
Yeah, Christopher Eccleston didn't.
Body got
David,
the Missy / Master, and then because I think they felt it was too soon by the point, by how End of Time ended to bring the Master back for Matt Smith. So it's like kind of weird how they're suddenly like, oh yeah, just throw another Master in there quick. I mean, not that I'm saying it's again bad. Depending on how they do its interest, it could be.
I thought it was interesting.
Worse than chaos. Yeah, but it's like, in a way, it's like, I mean, did we need it the Master quite this quickly? Given the ending seemed kind of very final before. Not that I'm saying it would be final, because of course the Master always finds a way to come back one way or another, or have as you say, a different point in time potentially. But it's like, just from a viewer perspective, it seems very quick after they supposedly had the Master.
To be fair, the last time we saw the Master was the 1st of July 2017, and it wasn't until Spyfall January 1st 2020. So in terms of like actual time,
from a series perspective, there's only been 2 series, less than that even.
But that's comparing like if you're watching it back to back,
2 specials worth basically.
I guess, but I think you also have to factor in like actual human time as well. Like, if you're putting them back to back, it's a whole different thing. If you're marathoning them, sure, it is very soon. But when you factor in that really almost 2.5 years, that's actually quite a while to not see a character at all. But like, yeah, for when it was every single year and it was Daleks, I can understand that argument because it was, within 365 days you were seeing the Daleks again. But within like a whole year, I mean, it's better than what they did with the Master back in the John Pertwee era. I mean, that was every single year.
Yeah, but that was only for a series. And that, while it removed the mystery, it forced the writers to come up with like new and interesting things to do with the Master that would differentiate it from the other weeks. So it ended up being quite an interesting series, and there's particular highlights in that, particularly for me, like Mind of Evil, and of course the Damon, and all that. I mean, there was some great stuff which they were forced to come up with for the Master for that series. I feel like, but that was only worked because it was a one-off series like that.
Yeah. Well, I did. I mean, the first series is banging. For
that's my favorite of John Pertwee. But the second was really solid as well.
I meant the first of the Master series. Terror of Autons, Mind of Evil.
Yeah.
Damon's is so good.
Well, Mind of Evil in particular, like I said, Mind of Evil was kind of one of my very favourites, actually. Not one that people really talk about.
It's strange, isn't it? It really caught me off guard when I watched that one the first time, because I didn't really expect anything much from it, but
because nobody ever talks about it. I think mostly because it was one of the ones that was missing, and then it was released only in black and white for a while until they colorized it. So I guess less people had less incentive to go and watch it. But yeah, it's a really great episode. Like, I get it. I feel like it's actually kind of quite high in one of my favorites, actually.
Yeah, banging TV. But yeah, right, I think wrap it up there. So let us know below what you thought.
Go watch Mind of Evil.
Yeah, watch Mind of Evil. Banging stuff. Great. So good. But yeah, comment below what you thought. Praxeus, if you made it this far. Well done. And yeah, we'll see you next week for... Can you hear me?
No, I can't.
Can you hear me now?
What? You're saying something like...
This is literally how
moving.
This is how our Skype conversations sometimes start when my thing defaults to not my microphone. But yeah, we'll see you...
I really can't hear you right now.
Fuck's sake. Okay, we'll see you next time. Bye!
Sorry?